Do you know what? It's lovely out here again today. Sun's just gone behind a cloud temporarily, but other than that, I mean, look, got this beautiful pinky purple rosebud willow herb, the lovely white of the hogweed over here. Ah, it's lovely. It's really lovely out here. My first sighting of this year's hawthorn berries. This hawthorn's just started putting them out. They've got to go bright red yet. Very easy to identify, haws as they call them. Very easy to identify them because by the time they've plumped up and turned bright red, they'll have a little star-shaped petal on the end. And if you taste them, they're a bit like a sort of not very good apple. In fact, you see the star shape on that one quite clearly, look, on the end there, see it? Yeah, they taste a bit, they're related to apple, and they taste a bit like a sort of slightly dehydrated apple, sort of slightly powdery texture. But again, nice flavour, something you can include in jams, etc., if you so choose. I'm not quite sure what this flower is. I think it's called agrimony. It's not one I've seen on the fields here before. There's a little bit of it here, just growing in one place only. And it's got these very curious little bell-shaped flower seed. I'm trying to get the focus here. See if I can get the focus going a little bit closer and then zoom out. It's very hard to focus on them. Oh look, I think that was a large white. I've not seen many cabbage whites this year. Maybe they're just starting to emerge, but he's really enjoying that greater knapweed. Yeah, look at that, tucking into that. You've seen rosebud willow herb and you've seen greater willow herb. Well, this is just willow herb, the smallest member of the family. Not a lot of it around, but it is dotted around here and there. Quite distinctive because of the 4 petals. Today's useless piece of information. The word helicopter is pronounced incorrectly. And where we call a helicopter a copter for short, we're also saying that incorrectly because the name helicopter comes from 2 Greek words that were squeezed together. Helico, which means spinning, that's where we also get helix from, you know, words like that. And pter, P-T-E-R, the same 4 letters you get at the beginning of things like pterodactyl, which means wing. So in other words, helicopter actually means spiral wing, but because the P is pronounced silently, it should be a helicoter, really. And we shouldn't be calling it a copter, we should be calling it a helico or a pter. Those colours, look, rosebud willow herb in the distance, lots and lots and lots of hogweed, a few thistles in amongst it all, and the ragwort, the yellow with the ragwort. God, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I've been checking out the ragwort for cinnabar moth caterpillars. It's normally swarming with them this time of year. A few butterflies and a few moths visiting here, and a few flies, but no caterpillars at all. Lovely bronze colour, shield bug. I mentioned in the last video that this is the time of year when birds preen out their old damaged feathers, and this is one of magpies preened out. Look at that beautiful iridescent bluey green where it catches the light. Magpie feather, beautiful, isn't it? Shame it's not in a better state. I'd stick it in my hat, but nevertheless, beautiful. Let's have a little bit of slow TV and just enjoy the wildflower meadows blowing in the summer breeze. You having fun? Good. My first knopper gall of 2024. That's where a particular kind of gall wasp has injected its egg into an acorn bud and has caused the acorn to mutate into this weird shape. It's just one of many different types of galls that we will come across in the next few weeks. So there you go, that's a knopper gall. And here is my second gall of the day, different kind. This is a marble gall. These are the ones that go hard and woody and brown. And these are caused when a different kind of gall wasp injects its egg into a leaf bud rather than an acorn. See, there's lots of different gall wasps can infest the same tree. They've all got different ecological niches. So there you go, that's the start of a marble gall. Now there's a marble gall that's a little bit more developed. It's got a bit bigger, it's starting to swell up. It's still green at the moment. It will go a lovely woody brown in due course. It's a bumper day, and there's our third kind of gall. This one, as you can see, is on the underside of a leaf, and it's actually been injected into the vein of the leaf on the underside. Now this one's called a cherry gall, and it's so called because it will go bright red. But it's hidden away on the underside of a leaf, I said, and that one's in the vein of a leaf as opposed to a leaf bud or a young acorn. So that's three different types of gall on one walk. I should point out for clarity, I suppose, that all of the galls you've seen so far today are all on oak trees, because these are gall wasps that particularly target oak trees. There are different gall wasps that go for other kinds of trees. There's one particular kind of gall. It's known as a robin's pincushion. It looks like a big fluffy ball, although it's slightly spiky. And that's caused by a wasp that particularly likes fruit trees, and it will most regularly hit anything that's got fruit on it. And I'm not just talking about sort of plums and apples and things like that, but also things like dog roses, because of course rose hips are a kind of fruit. Another couple of young cherry galls there on the underside of a leaf, and I think just over here I saw another knopper gall, quite a young one, just starting to develop. Oh yeah, there it is. You can just about see how the acorn is starting to deform. See all those lumps starting to develop? It will soon turn into that big lumpy weird thing that a knopper gall eventually becomes. Hidden almost in the shadows behind a little grove of oak trees, there is a beautiful wild rowan tree with all these fantastic clusters of rowan berries. Now these aren't quite as bright red as the ones you get in a garden with a commercially grown rowan. They're more sort of orangey, but they're still beautiful things, and the birds love them, and humans can eat them too. You've got to cook them first, but they're a great addition to hedgerow jellies and jams, you know, anything you're making like that at home. And the reason people plant them in their gardens, apart from the fact they're quite ornamental, is that traditionally planting a rowan tree was a protection from witches. Which is curious really, because I know quite a lot of witches, and they're some of the nicest and kindest people I know. A tree that's grown through and absorbed a fence. The fence is actually growing right through the tree, can you see? Also something very odd is you've got an extra branch coming up from the ground here, which is fused back into the tree up here, so the tree's kind of got a handle like a cup. A marvellous thing, isn't it? Life finds a way. This is quite a nice grass. They start off with these lovely green tops, look a bit like mini bulrushes, and then as time goes on they go brown and they get covered with these sort of little tiny seeds that all rub off, or insects carry them off or knock them off, and then eventually they go completely brown like these ones over here. Will you shush? David Attenborough never has this trouble. And that's your lot for this week. See you in the next video. Toodle pip. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those four things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.